So Jill, tell me about protein sources for people who are vegan or maybe very strongly vegetarian.
Well, basically you get protein from every food you eat except pretty much fruit and pure fat like oil. So my main source of protein is beans. I eat beans every day if I can, and almost every day if I can't.
Yes.
And so the other sources that people usually, so every food you eat is going to give you protein. You don't really have much to be concerned about, but people often are, because you know that hunk of meat isn't in the middle of the plate.
Yes, yes.
So the main thing the things that I tell people to eat other than beans are tofu, tempeh, and seitan if they don't have a problem with gluten. A lot of people find, though, that the foods that kind of usher them in, maybe the fake meat things, or, you know, veggie burgers are great. If you don't make your own, you can get some really good ones. Sunshine burgers are good, and some Dr. Prager's are good, and Amy's Kitchen has one, which is the Sonoma burger, which is, I think, black beans and quinoa, which is the burger that I make when I don't buy burgers.
Yes.
So anyway, those are the things that people can get protein, and obviously you can get protein from nuts and seeds, but not like tons of nuts and seeds. And you know, if you're concerned, you can add like hemp protein to things, but in general, most people get enough protein.
So you don't think people need to be worried about making sure they combine one food item with another food item to make sure that it's a complete protein and all of that?
Well, I tell people don't worry about anything. It doesn't pay off. So that's the main thing. But in terms of the protein combining, what they found is that if you eat foods, any foods, they're broken down in your liver and all the amino acids are stored there. So you don't have to eat all the foods at one time. You can eat like the beans one time and the rice another time, and all those things will recombine in your system to give you what you need. The funny thing is that we kind of naturally eat foods together, like you might have peanut butter and jelly, and so you're going to have bread, or you're going to have corn tortillas and beans, or corn and rice, or beans and rice, and so we naturally combine them. It's only when you have like really limited diets and you're only eating all fruit, or just, you know, low-calorie vegetables, which hardly anybody does, but that's when the issues come in.
Right, okay. And do vegetables have protein?
Vegetables have protein. They all have protein. The issue becomes that you're not eating that much of them, unless you're me or you, but you know, most people aren't eating tons of vegetables, so they're not really getting that much protein from vegetables, but you are getting some.
Excellent. Now, you mentioned tofu and soy. What's your opinion on soy products? I know there's a lot of debate and controversy in the health world.
Absolutely. This is one that I kind of like to stay away from, but I will give my opinion. My opinion is I do eat soy. I eat small amounts of soy. I think the issue is not tofu. It's not tempeh. It's not soy milk you might make yourself. If you read the labels of foods, what you'll find out is there's soy protein isolate in a lot of different foods, from like cereal to bread to soy milk. That's where the issue is. It's not eating 4 ounces of tofu a few times a week, or eating tempeh, which is a bit better food, but harder for most Americans to, you know, eat because it's so unfamiliar. So that's where the issue comes in, not so much the soy. And if you do drink soy milk, you want to get as pure a product as you can, with the least things in it. But the funny thing about soy milk is when I was first a vegetarian, I was not a big milk drinker anyway, so I didn't really drink soy milk. I mean, a little bit. But if people drink a lot of milk, which isn't even that necessary, there's so many choices now.
Yes.
You don't have to have soy. You can have hemp. You can have rice. There's now a flax one. There's a sunflower one. So you can get like a whole, or multigrain, whole range of different milks.
Right.
And you don't have to depend on soy.
Right. And soy should be organic. Right?
Absolutely, because that's the only way you know, or hopefully know, that you're getting non-GMO.
Yes.
So I tell people, if you can buy organic, and if you can't, at least look at the list, the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15, so you know which are the best products to buy organic.
Yes.
Or if you live somewhere and something's grown organically and it's not that expensive and you can afford it, buy it.
Right. Right. Now, tell me, so you talked about tempeh. Can you tell everybody a little bit about what tempeh is? Because you said it was foreign to people.
Well, tempeh is a fermented soy product. It's made from soybeans, which are formed into a cake and inoculated with a spore, which is a mold, and then they're allowed to grow. And the interesting thing is that growth allows the soybeans to be more digestible. And it's kind of a weird product because it has, well, my husband doesn't like mushrooms, but it has kind of a, for some people, a mushroomy kind of taste. And so it's, unlike tofu, which is kind of spongy, this is has a lot of texture. And a lot of people have trouble with tempeh because they've either had it or never had it, and it looks weird, or they haven't cooked it in a way that's really palatable. So I recommend that people take it and they steam it first, because that kind of opens up the places between the I call them like the pores of the soy, and then you can marinate it, and then you can saute it or grill it or crumble it and form it into burgers or put it in your tomato sauce or whatever you want to do.
And what about people who have issues with like yeast or fungus?
You know, this is always a good question, and I don't really know the answer. I think, though, that people who eat tempeh, the yeast problems are not from eating fermented foods. The yeast problems are an internal problem, and a lot of times it's related to poor balance in your body and too much food that's going to turn to sugar, which is going to feed the yeast.
Okay.
And I don't think tempeh really is going to turn to sugar and feed the yeast as much as like a white potato or you know, a date even. So I would say that probably it's not an issue, but that's not my area of expertise.
Okay. And sort of along the same lines, what about nutritional yeast? Because I know that that's something that a lot of vegans and vegetarians use.
Well, the little research that I've done, which really is little, on nutritional yeast, but I have done some. I've written a couple of articles about it. It is not a true yeast in the way that yeast, like what you use to ferment bread.
Yes.
So I think it's probably okay. I think you always want to, you know, use it cautiously and sparingly if you're not sure. And again, it's one of those individual things. It may not be a problem for you. Even though I love nutritional yeast, I don't use tons of it, like making nutritional yeast gravies and things like that. Probably because I don't use a lot of gravy. But the thing is, I don't think you need to use a lot of it all the time. And that's another thing I really encourage people to do, is have a lot of variety.
Right, so try a lot of different things.
Absolutely.
So what are some of your top tips for people to get more veggies into their diet?
Well, I would say, first of all, find the ones you like and eat those, and eat them in season, because that's when they're going to taste the best. That's when they're going to be the most affordable.
Yes.
Then try something new every week or every couple of weeks, something that you see. The other thing is, if you have a farmer's market, shop at your farmer's market, because you will get the best tasting, the most different, you know, varieties. And, you know, summer's coming and everybody loves like summer tomatoes, but which you can only really get in the summer.
Yes.
So, you know, and you might find, like, there's a squash I love, a summer squash called Cascata Romanesco, and I love that, and I really only find it at the farmer's market.
Right.
So, you know, get the freshest, the best, you know, the least processed, the one that traveled the least. And then, you know, have your staples, the things that you like, that you're going to get all the time. You know, find your favorite lettuce and use that. Or, you know, add some arugula to your salad for a little spark. Or, you know, I think it's just like mixing it up and not eating steamed broccoli every day. Because I think that's what happens. People go, I'm so tired of steamed vegetables.
Yes.
I'm like, I would be tired of steamed vegetables too.
Right.
So, you know, sometimes you might want to saute them, sometimes you might want to grill them, sometimes you might want to roast them. You know, like, just mix it up. Sometimes you might just want soup. So I think that's the whole thing. It's like, don't say, I only eat steamed broccoli.
Right, right.
So,
okay. So Jill, tell us a little bit more about where people can find out more about you, how they can order your books, where they can find some of your recipes.
Well, you can find almost everything about me at my website, which is www.theveggie.queen. Don't forget the THE, veggiequeen.com. I also have another site, which is a little wonky at the moment, called pressurecookingonline.com. And those are the places where you will find out about me. I'm also on Facebook. I'm also on Twitter. And LinkedIn, but I draw the line at Pinterest. You're not going to find me there. I don't have enough time in my life. And also you can find my books on Amazon. They're there. I have 2 books, The Veggie Queen, Vegetables Get the Royal Treatment, and the new fast food, oh boy, I made the title so long, The Veggie Queen Pressure Cooks Whole Food Meals in Less Than 30 Minutes. And I have a DVD on pressure cooking, which really helps people get into pressure cooking, which is called, oh, my brain just went blank. It's called Pressure Cooking a Fresh Look, Delicious Dishes in Minutes, and that has 14 recipes. And then on my website I have a blog, and you'll find my recipes there. Some pressure cooked, some regular, and I also have an email newsletter that people can sign up for on my website that comes out every month, and it has at least 1 or 2 seasonal recipes.
Wow, that's great.
So.
Okay, well, we all look forward to connecting with you, and we thank you so much for all of your time today.
And thank you for having me.
Thanks.